Viltrox is the greatest threat to Sigma, Tamron, Sony, and every other lens manufacturer out there at the moment. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I do believe it. I've watched this company that no one even recognized back in 2020 launch their first Sony E-mount lens, and now they have a larger selection than many current long-established lens manufacturers. The speed alone is incredible. I don't know how a company can release this many new lenses in a single year. It's been basically 2 to 3 new lenses every single month for several months now. But not only is it the speed, because they also get it. This company from 5 years ago that no one knew is now making better lenses than everyone else, basically, with their Pro lineup. And that's the reason I'm talking about this in this video, because Viltrox just announced a brand new line called EVO, and this is the first lens in that series, and I think it's another genius chess move. It addresses the complaints from their Pro line and also the complaints from their Air line, and it manages to feel like a very refined offering. It's kind of like a Goldilocks lens. This video is sponsored by Viltrox, which means they are paying me to demonstrate this lens and talk about it. I am treating this just like I do a regular lens review. So I will show you the lens, I will show you the results, I'll talk to you about all of the problems and all the shortcomings, and I will hide nothing in this video. Viltrox will not see this video before it goes live, and they have no say in what I say. So let's get started. Those who have used the Air line always complain that they wish that these lenses had a dedicated aperture ring. Those who have used the Pro line always talk about how big and heavy they are. Well, I guess now with the EVO line, you get a smaller, lighter body with all of the buttons and the switches and the aperture rings of the Pro line, and at a price that is closer to the Air line. Construction is plastic and glass. However, I will say it is a significant step up in feel over the Air line. The finishing and textures are very good. Weight is a very modest 340 grams, and the size is bigger than the Air series, but still quite compact. Starting at the rear, there is a metal mount, electronics, a USB-C port for firmware, and a rubber sealing gasket that is orange, although the rest of the lens does not seem to be weather sealed. The aperture ring is the second best clicky aperture that I've tested. Only the new Sigma 12mm f1.4 has a more satisfying action. Take a listen. It is very well done on this EVO model. It is better done than their Pro series in my opinion. And with this switch, you can use the ring without any clicks if you prefer. Lens specs are printed on the top: Viltrox logo, EVO badge, autofocus manual focus switch, and focus hold function button. Manual focus ring here is smooth, electronic, it rotates indefinitely, and the tolerances and the fitment excellent. Around the front is a compact front element, some more specs: 58mm front filter thread, and minimum focus of 2.43 feet. Inside there are 10 elements in 8 groups, including advanced elements, a 9-bladed diaphragm, and focus is handled by an STM stepper motor, so not a linear focus motor such as what you get on the Pro line. So I took this lens out with my full frame Sony a7C, and here are the results, JPEGs out of my camera. Ready, set, go. This lens is very good. I didn't know what to expect with the EVO line, but this being the first one, I'm very excited to see what else the new line will bring us. As a portrait lens, this 85mm does everything that you'd ever want a portrait lens to do. Sharpness is solid, wide open in the center of the frame, through the mid frame, and the very corners do get soft. The softness is really there until f5.6. This lens certainly does get better at f2.8 and f4, but peak sharpness in the corners happens at f5.6 and above. Colors and contrast levels are excellent. I found skin tones to be natural and nice overall. There is quite a bit of vignetting getting wide open at f2. It does get much better at f2.8, but for portraits, the vignetting is nice at times. In terms of distortion, this looks pretty flat to me. There may be a touch of pincushion, which is easy enough to correct. However, most photographers like a little bit of pincushion for portraits, so maybe it's not such a bad thing. Chromatic aberration performance is good. There is a little bit of it here and there. However, the Loca color fringing on out-of-focus high contrast areas is more noticeable. This performance is definitely not as good as the lenses in the Pro lineup, but still pretty respectable. Flare control is not great. This lens has a lot of flaring elements, a significant loss of contrast, and I thought that the deep lens hood would help, but it barely makes a difference. Bokeh performance is great. Backgrounds are nice and smooth, not distracting for portraits. The balls do cat eye in the corners and the edges, but overall they are clean with minimal fringing, and you get plenty of subject separation at 85mm and f2 on a full frame setup. In terms of autofocus performance, this EVO lens did very well. I didn't have any issues with hunting or misfocused shots. It locked into the eyes confidently and quickly. There is the tiniest of noises that you can hear if you put the lens up to your ear and move focus, but it is near silent. Focus breathing, however, is heavy. The frame does move significantly, so this won't be the best option for video focus pulls. And then let's talk about value. This is a full frame lens, which means it is more expensive than any APS-C you compare it to. Yet at launch today, this lens is only $275 US, and there's likely a sale happening, I believe another 5% off, which makes this thing $261 US. That is really an incredible value for a full frame portrait lens. This is why I think this lineup is going to be so good. If Viltrox can keep these prices around that $250 to $300 mark, I don't know how anyone else can beat that type of performance for the money. So that is my review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. What lenses would you like to see, full frame or APS-C, in the future with this lineup? Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.